And now we will be covering how to add contacts within the Short Sale Sync system. There are two ways to do this. You can do this by setting all of your employees up initially outside of a file, or once you start a new file or enter one that's in progress, you can also add that name to the file as a file specific contact. By doing so, that will also add that person that was in a file specific category to the master Rolodex of the Short Sale Sync system. Let's set up in Office or a mock office initially. You just bought the software, log in, click on Account, Contacts. Once that page loads, you'll need to look in the bottom left corner here and click Add Contact. A pop-up screen will appear. At this point in time, you should know whom you're going to enter and what role they'll play or what permission or access level you would like to give them. Let me explain the access levels. Account administrator sees all files and has no restrictions. A standard user has no restrictions other than the fact they can only see files to which they are assigned. A restricted user can only see files to which they are assigned, but a restricted user cannot see the quick view, cannot see the training videos, cannot see the Twitter feeds, okay? It's completely almost white labeled so that when they log in, they can only see their tasks. Now, a restricted user will need to be given a role. A good example of a restricted user is an escrow or closing agent that only needs to get in and upload a HUD or complete a HUD for you. If you chose escrow agent or closing officer, they would only be able to see the HUD one within the file, their tasks, notes that have been written to them, and also the file upload section if there's anything you need them to upload. None means it is just a person that you will have in there so you have access to their phone number. They will not be given a login. Account administrators, standard users, and restricted users will be emailed with their login ID, which is their email, their password, and how to log into the Sync system. Simply enter the company name and their email. And then if you would like to add a phone number, do so here and their address. Click Save when you're done. Yes, I want to give login access, and an email will be sent out automatically. Now, the other way to add a contact is to enter into a system file. So go back to your home page or your pipeline page, and you have a quick view of your pipeline here. Simply click on the homeowner, simply click on contacts, choose the contact section where you'll be entering that contact. So if you wanted to add a processor here. Now, if you have already entered your staff's name up above, you would simply be able to pick Sue Seller Buyer right here, okay? And choose them as a standard user, typically for a processor. I'm not restricting them in any way other than they can only see their files. I don't want them to see all of the other processors' files, so I picked them as a standard user. If you want to enter a phone or an address, you can certainly do that, and that will get updated on the master Rolodex list, okay, or your master contact list. From here, I see that this person is a processor. Okay, so a processor will be able to see everything. Okay, so I can choose roles. All right, now if I restrict this user, for instance, I'm using a third-party processor and not in my company, and I do not want them to see the private notes and public notes, I simply restrict them. I can still have them have the processor role just to see their own files. And though now I can control whether they can view or post public notes, as you can see, they cannot view private notes or our activity log. Okay, if you do not want them to be able to post notes, you simply uncheck that. If you do not want them to be able to view notes, simply uncheck that. If you want them to be able to add and view private notes, simply check that. And if you want them to be alerted to the fact that there's a new public or private note, that you would do that there. Now, I want to go over the different roles that are within our system. Okay, file admin you'll be able to, you can restrict them, but the file admin will be able to see everything. The processor will be able to only see their files, but will be able to see everything on the interview tab. Negotiator would be a bank negotiator. Okay, they will not be able to see anything other than, this would not be a negotiator inside of your staff. This is a bank negotiator. They will only be able to see their tasks in the upload page or the files that are assigned to them. An attorney is much like a processor, where the attorney would be able to see just their files. Okay. A listing agent wouldn't be able to see any of the if you chose listing agent, the listing agent would be able to see the client's information, because obviously you've gotten that information from them. The selling agent would not be able to see the information for the buyer, such as social securities and everything else, but they will be allowed to upload things such as proof of funds, etc. Escrow and title company, if you choose this, will only be able to see the inside the interview section, the HUD or settlement statement section, okay, as well as upload, as well as tasks and messages. A BPO realtor would only be able to see the BPO section within the interview tab. Okay, HOA would only be able to upload HOA items. The borrower, of course, would be able to see their information just in case they need to get in there and change it. The lender does not see anything at all. If you just wanted to have the lender in there, that's basically a none. The buyer can see just the file upload, the file checklist information, etc. Referral source can just see public notes. Okay, and other you can set as you go. So the wonderful thing about the Short Sale Sync system is you can set your access, you can set the roles, you can have multiple roles, and you can set the permissions. If there's a multiple role, whichever has the higher whichever is allowed to see more. For instance, if you had a processor or in a BPO agent, the processor would overrule the BPO agent. However, they would be both in processor and in BPO agent down here. So the higher the role or the higher the access, the higher one will overrule the lower one. And that's our contacts, our roles, and permissions. Access, if you have any other questions on this, we will be providing you with a worksheet. Also, it'll be on the FAQ section, the frequently asked questions, or you can just call support at 877-770